G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Got some news for you, and it involves this guy. The GoPro Hero12 Black, which has just been announced. I'm not allowed to show you what's in the box just yet. That's under embargo, but if you keep an eye on the channel, you'll see that very shortly, including a review of the device itself. But I can tell you a little bit about what to expect in the new evolution in GoPro's long-running action camera, well, juggernaut really. So let's start with the price. It's $649.95 here in Australia. Now this puts it at exactly the same price as the subscriber's price for the GoPro Hero11 Black. They used to have a non-subscriber's price, which was a fair bit more than that, maybe even $7.99, I can't remember. And then if you were a subscriber, you got up to $649. Well, now they don't have that, it's just the $649 price. However, there is also a max lens 2.0 mod coming as well, and that one is $169.95 here in Australia if you're not a member or a subscriber, but if you are a subscriber, that's $139.95 here in Australia, so you will get a discount on that if you are a GoPro subscriber. But yes, that's the retail price there, so otherwise, you know, same price as always with the GoPro, so that's good. In terms of release date, you can pre-order it for September 6, 2023, and it will hit shelves on September 13, 2023, so not long of a wait there. Now, in this video, there's obviously a lot to cover, and I am not allowed to review the device at this point in time, but I can talk to you about the features that have been announced today. So let's go and have a look at the top 10, in my opinion anyway, features with the GoPro Hero12 Black. Let's start with number 1. So one of the big ones here, battery life. It's up to double the battery life that we saw on the GoPro Hero11 Black, so that's pretty impressive, especially considering it's using the same Enduro batteries. Now, during the press briefing on this, they did tell us that this is because of massive changes in the efficiency of the encoding, and that's where they're seeing a lot of the performance. But performance improvements, but you can expect at the full 5.3K 60 frames a second to get about 70 minutes worth of footage out of the battery. If you drop that down to 5.3K 30 seconds, you're gonna get about 95 minutes worth of battery. And if you go right back to 1080p 30, you're gonna get 155 minutes worth of battery. So that's pretty damn solid. And that's with HyperSmooth 6.0 on. Number 2. Now thinking about image stabilization, they've got HyperSmooth 6.0 this time. It was HyperSmooth 5.0 last time. And one of the big things about the new HyperSmooth is it has an added mode called Auto Boost. And in this, it does 4 times the analysis of any given scene. And that allows it to not only do better image stabilization, but because it's analyzing it 4 more times than previously, or in the standard HyperSmooth mode, you're gonna get less cropping when you get that HyperSmooth image stabilization going on. What'll be interesting is how that impacts the battery life, but I'll have to do some more testing to be able to tell you about that. Number 3. Now this is probably my favorite new feature. You can actually now sync up to 4 Bluetooth devices to your GoPro, and that includes mics. So what you can now do is have a mic synced to Bluetooth to your GoPro, recording a second audio track at the same time you're recording the primary audio track through the GoPro. Now, the demonstration they showed of this was the GoPro sitting outside a car mounted, and recording all the sounds of the tires hitting the dirt and all that type of flicking, you know, the sounds of a car engine, all that type of stuff, while someone inside the car driving had a Bluetooth mic set up and was narrating what was going on. And because it recorded both audio channels onto the GoPro, in post, sounded perfect. You got the audio of the ambient and you've got the Bluetooth person narrating. Sick feature, and you can sync up to 4 at once. Number 4. So you've still got that lovely 8:7 aspect ratio with the GoPro Hero12 Black, but now that 8:7 aspect ratio is across all modes and across all resolutions. So that includes time warp, time lapse, night lapse, and the night effects. So you're all getting that 8:7 aspect ratio. You can also, of course, crop that to 16:9 or 9:16 or 4:3. And there's also now a dedicated vertical mode as well. So you can just film in vertical if you want to upload to a platform that likes it in that format. Now, what hasn't changed, unfortunately, is the image sensor, which is still 1/1.9 inches. So that's a bit of a shame. When you see the DJI Action 4 goes to 1/1.3 inch. So that means there's not going to be too much improvement there when it comes to low light. And I did ask GoPro about this, and they just said that there isn't enough consumer demand there for low light filming to warrant changing image sensor, which I kind of find hard to swallow. I don't think that's really true, but anyway, that was their reason for it, but no improvement on image sensor, but that aspect ratio is across all the modes and resolutions. Number 5. So this is pretty cool. There's been a design change. So, you know, down there where the finger mounts are, usually on the GoPro Hero12 Black, for example, there's now in between those a 1/4 mount. So that's your classic kind of screw mount that you might get with your standard tripod. So this is kind of really awesome because GoPro is basically pulling the GoPro out of its own ecosystem and allowing you to suddenly use various mounts and accessories from other ecosystems with it. So it's a big win, especially for professionals, in my opinion anyway. Professionals will also be happy to know that you can now time sync infinite numbers of GoPros together, which makes it a fair bit easier in post. Number 6, easier interface. So GoPro told us that basically a lot of consumers were kind of confused by some of the, I guess, professional language used in the menu system. So they've dumbed that down a little bit and made it a bit more obvious what you are selecting and what's that going to, you know, how's that going to reflect in what you're shooting. So expect a more intuitive and easier interface to access and go through. Plus you can now access all modes through the new easy control system. So you don't have to go into the app to access some modes like you had to in the Black, or the Hero12 Black. So that's a win. Number 7, introducing HyperView. So this is a new setting that does an even more ultra wide mode than what we've seen previously with the GoPro series. Now, effectively what this does is it takes like the 8:7 aspect ratio and puts it into a 16:9 aspect ratio without losing anything. So it kind of just gets really big and immersive. Now, the footage that they showed, the demos they showed of this was really impressive. The idea here is to have the most extreme point of view action camera available. And if you have the Max Lens Mod 2.0 attached, you can do HyperView Max, which brings it up to 177 degrees of freedom, which is, according to GoPro at least, the best in the industry. And certainly what I saw of it so far stands up to that claim. Number 8. So this is pretty awesome. The Quick app is launching on desktops. So on November 1, Quick will launch on Macs, and then in early 2024, that's what we were told, or that's what I was told, it will then also come to PCs. Now this is pretty awesome. So basically the process is going to be, if you're a GoPro subscriber, is when you plug in, you go out, you know, during the day, you film a whole bunch of stuff, you come home, you plug in your GoPro is going to automatically upload that stuff to the cloud, which is unlimited storage you've got there. And then it's going to spit out a highlights video for you just automatically to check out. And then you can go onto the cloud and start editing your videos. Now, if you then want to jump over to your Mac and then eventually your PC, because it's all happening in the cloud, you just be able to continue editing no matter which device you're on. And even cooler than that, once you're on the desktop, you'll be able to just edit any video or any photos you've taken from any particular camera on the app. So it might even become a replacement to Adobe software, for example, to just use the Quick app. I don't know if you can still call it an app when it's on a PC and a Mac, but anyway. So big changes there, and I think it's great. I think it's really, really great, and I'm really looking forward to mucking around with that. Number 9. So yes, you're probably buying the GoPro Hero12 Black as a video or action video camera, but it also takes stills. Now you can pull 24.3 megapixel stills just straight out of the video, or you can take 27 megapixel stills just as you like. But they've added some new kind of features there, which I think pretty awesome for the still side of things. So one of them is you can now like get a still photo from like night effects or things like star trails. So when you do that kind of effect, it'll also output a still of, you know, basically a summary of what that video has captured, which is, you know, pretty awesome. And there's also these new power tools called interval photos. And what that basically allows the camera to do, or you can set intervals from anywhere from half a second up to 120 seconds. And while you're filming, as well as exporting the video that you are filming, it will also export stills at the intervals that you've set, giving you both at once and allowing you to kind of go through some epic sequence and just already have that still looking awesome and available to you straight away, which is great. Number 10. So when it comes to color, it's still recording at 10-bit, but you've now got GP logs, what they call GP logs, in there as well, with lookup tables that are going to basically allow professionals to get a bit more flexibility in post. And on top of that, the HDR has also been improved. So basically now it's just taking more exposures simultaneously and kind of combining those together to get a better HDR effect. And that's right up to 5.3K and also right down to 2.7K at 2040 frames slow-mo as well. So there you go, guys. That's everything I can tell you at the moment about the GoPro Hero12 Black. Yet again, GoPro is really pushing things forward in the action camera space pretty impressively. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because I will be putting an unboxing video up and a review as soon as the embargo drops. And until then, I'm gonna go have some fun. Thanks for watching.